a German zine by way of Rome, all about cell phones. Let's take a look. Hey everyone, it is Tom. We're doing a world zine today. It's called Randy. I believe I picked this up from a bookstore. I believe it was the Rismo bookstore in Rome. Nice looking trade paperback, done very nicely. About digest size. You can see the size of my hand for comparison. A little bigger than a mini comic, a quarter page mini comic, a little smaller than a standard mini comic or a standard digest, but this is the Euro size. Put together by, Randy is the German word for cell phone. The book is by Fan Art and Squash. Okay, I'll take your word for it. They came out of Leipzig, Germany. This was made in October of 23. Only 100 copies exist in the world. Neat anthology book. This is a book, a zine collection, an anthology about cell phones. It is done in a deliciously eclectic art style. Gloss covers, nice paperback construction, cardstock on the outside. Actually, more than cardstock. This is more like a cardboard. I mean, this is solid. On the inside, we have matte paper, full color print. Not every artist took advantage of it, but that's fine. That's their creative decision. And it's all about cell phones. I'll start with my biggest criticism of the book, which is it's really hard to read this stuff. This is actually the name of the story and the creator. It's very hard to read. This isn't easy to read, but at least I could get that made out. Squash and Fan Art and Randy. That one I'm just having challenges with. Luckily, those were only the title pages for the books. Everything else is pretty simple. We have a series of stories about people and their cell phones, and this is about a young girl here who wants a cell phone in her life, and she says, if you don't buy me a phone, I will kill myself. The parents are like, wait a minute, what? Honey, you need therapy, not a phone. So she goes to bed and cries. So I could always give her my phone. No, she doesn't need it. Okay, but I do need a new phone. I'll just throw this one out then. And she's crying tears on that. She's had enough. But then Dad comes in and brings her a phone, I guess. This one is called End to End. A neat story with kind of a circular loop to it. Here I am again. It seems like the days are looping. If you catch here, this one very clearly is computer-generated art. I'm not saying AI. It's just computer-generated. This is very much hand-drawn art. This is about these mystery cell phones that end up they show up at weird places and speak to these people and tell them all sorts of scary things about their life. And they start screwing with them. Really cool art. The thing I always love about seeing zines from out of the country is that we have a style that we're used to seeing in the States. When you get out of the States, even a little bit up into Canada, but most definitely down in Mexico, and then running over to Europe, you just have some really wild, creative uses of artwork, such as blank spots here. Talking about the blank spots on the fingernails. Now this one, I'm not necessarily sure that this had a whole lot to do with cell phones, but the artwork is really incredible. It looks like somebody played with basic shapes and then was able to kind of make a narrative out of it. This one I'm not sure actually has S-O-R-O-R, Soror? Okay. This one's about a deer that came and lived with this person and noticed that they're on their phone to start with. So maybe that's the connection. Talking about the relationship that develops with this deer. Got to get used to the deer. They come with difficulties. Yeah, that's it. This one is interesting because the watercolor look is really great. And I like how the bounding box is constrained. It's almost like maybe there was an overlay or something made, and then they did the wash. And then it turns into really a discussion of the relationship between two people. Ah, Looks like they might be on their phones together. Pretty cool. Oh, notice the hand at the end matching up with the hand at the beginning. Very much about bringing people together. And perhaps maybe that's the purpose of their phone. This one's called Pen Pal. Even when you're using the simplest art techniques, I mean, these are scribbles for trees. These are lines for the mountains. Throwing in this case, the digital artwork makes it that much more interesting. And it gives you some inspiration as far as what you could do with comics on your own. You don't have to do it in color. You could do this with black and white as well. But interesting how the white outline, or maybe it was just they did the gradient with the orange here going to yellow, and then the blue, and then they just left some of the white in the background there. And that became almost a glowing white outline. Then this has to be the creators, because this style of artwork so resembles the style of that weird typeset. Luckily, the information that you've got in the story itself is done with what looks like maybe a Helvetica or something of that real simple nature. This is neat artwork, much easier to understand and appreciate than the text. But they start with an I spy. You've got one person on a snowboard, one person on skis, and they spy an iPhone. So they're going to go get it so they can share it. And it's the story of how they go slipping and sliding down the hill to get their iPhone. So look at this. It's all basically hex shapes, all hexagons matched together. Images of jumping snowboarders, of skiers going down the hill, passing the trees. I mean, that's kind of cool. Almost an 8-bit style look to it. I like it. I like it a lot. That's one I never would have considered doing. Then we've got, it's called Cream, and it's about a person being the world's best pastry chef. They're short on cash, but they can make buttercream, but they just don't want to eat sugar. They want something, she's craving something hearty. She's starving. Then she, through more adult methods, works herself up into a sweat and finally gets something salty. Yeah, this is an adult-only book. The crap, the chat, the trick, the dream, the building. A series of what appear to be single-page strips. So this is the crap. This crap doesn't work. Of course, that would be the phone. The chat. And it's all about, you stole my phone. And no, you didn't. It's chocolate. You want some? Real cute. The trick. So this one, I think, was a couple pages. Then the dream. Neat combinations of color. These look like pencil, but this could be charcoals for all I know. And then you've got some pastels maybe. And then the building. I will build a building with all of these bricks. You can sit and relax. So they hang out on their phone, and this person makes all sorts of stuff with their bricks, except one brick is missing, and they make it, and they're so happy. Materialismus. This person's working on a cell phone at a repair shop. Really like the colored pencil look, the use of the close-ups, just enough detail. Very cool. And then incompatible. This is kind of crazy about the compatibilities between iPhones and Samsung phones. And it gets kind of out of control. There you go. Another inspirational book. Randy by Squash and Fan Art. Out of Germany. Picked it up, mail order through Rome. That's it for now, everybody. I will have information if I can figure out how to get it to you in the show notes. And if you are interested, take a look there. Don't forget, like the video, subscribe to FANzine Live, and tell your friends, because we talk about this stuff, and tell me you can find it anywhere else. Thank you so much for watching. This is Tom. This is FANzine Live. I will catch you next time.